The elevator doors open on the 47th floor, and Eren Vale steps into a world that smells like leather and money. His shoes, cheap, polished 3 times to hide the cracks, sink into carpet so thick it swallows sound. The reception desk stretches 15 feet across, black marble veined with gold. A woman in a charcoal suit glances up, her eyes sharp enough to cut glass. Name: Eren Vale. I have an interview at 2. She frowns, types, frowns harder. You're not on the schedule. His stomach drops. The email said second floor, HR department. A staffing agency position, data entry, filing, something quiet where no one would look at him too long. This isn't the second floor. There must be a mistake, Eren says, gripping the résumé folder against his chest. The motion presses fabric against the curve of his belly, and he shifts his weight, angles his body toward the wall. The receptionist's gaze flickers down, stops. Her expression goes carefully blank. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Wait here, she says, standing abruptly. Her heels click away down a hallway lined with floor-to-ceiling windows. Beyond the glass, the city sprawls 47 stories below, cars like insects, people invisible. Eren's pulse hammers in his throat. He should leave, walk back to the elevator, ride down, pretend this never happened. But he's been to 11 interviews in 3 weeks. 6 didn't call back, 4 told him they'd keep his resume on file. 1 looked at his medical disclosure form and said the position had just been filled. He needs this job. Any job. The hallway ahead curves left. Eren hears voices, low, male-controlled, the kind of voices that don't ask twice. Then footsteps. A man appears around the corner. Tall, dark-haired, expensive suit, black, tailored so precisely it looks painted on. He's maybe 35, maybe older, hard to tell when someone moves like they've never doubted themselves once in their entire life. 2 other men follow behind him, white dress shirts, black slacks, hands loose at their sides but their shoulders stay tight, ready. The man in the suit stops 10 feet away. His eyes land on Eren, and the air in the room changes. You're late, he says. His voice is cold, controlled, the kind of tone that ends conversations. Eren's mouth goes dry. I think there's been a mistake, sir. I was supposed to. You were scheduled for 2 o'clock, it's 2:14. No, Eren glances at the folder in his hands, at the email printout clipped to the front. Second floor, Harrington Staffing Solutions, not this, not. The man steps closer. Eren's breath catches. The instinct is immediate, visceral, step back, lower your eyes, make yourself small. He does all 3. The man's gaze drops, slowly, deliberately. It travels from Eren's face to his chest, then lower to the place where his shirt pulls just slightly across his midsection. The silence stretches. One of the men behind him shifts his weight, the other's jaw tightens. Who sent you? The man in the suit asks quietly. I don't understand. I'm just here for an interview. I didn't know this was. You're carrying. It's not a question. Eren's hands move on instinct, crossing over his stomach. Please, I just need work. I won't cause problems. I don't need insurance or benefits or. How far along? Sir, How far? Eren swallows. 5 months. One of the men behind the suit exhales sharply. The other mutters something under his breath. The man in the suit takes another step forward. He's close enough now that Eren can smell his cologne, wood smoke, and something sharper, clinical. What's your name? Eren Vale. Who's the father? Eren flinches. The question is a knife between ribs, quick and precise. It doesn't matter. It does to me. Why? The word comes out sharper than Eren intended. Fear does that, turns caution into edges. Why would it matter to you? The man's expression doesn't change, but something flickers behind his eyes. Calculation, curiosity. You walked into my building, he says quietly. That makes it my business. Eren's legs feel unsteady. The folder shakes in his hands. I didn't mean to. There was a scheduling error. I'll leave. I'm sorry. He turns toward the elevator. Stop. The command is soft, but it locks Eren's feet to the floor. The man moves past him close enough that his shoulder brushes Eren's. Eren jerks back instinctively, stumbling, and the man's hand shoots out, steadies him by the elbow. The touch lasts 2 seconds. Eren's entire body goes rigid. The man's fingers tighten briefly, then release. He steps back, but his eyes stay fixed on Eren's face. You flinched. Eren doesn't answer. That's not normal. I'm fine. Who taught you to be afraid of being touched? The question cracks something open inside Eren's chest. He looks away, focuses on the carpet, the gold veins in the marble, anything but the man's face. I need to go. Sit down. Sir. Sit down. The command is quieter this time, but it carries weight, the kind of weight that bends rooms. Eren's knees fold before his brain catches up. He sinks into one of the leather chairs near the window, clutching the folder like a shield. The man in the suit doesn't sit. He stands in front of the window, backlit by the city, a shadow with edges. What happened to you? He asks. Eren shakes his head. Nothing. Try again. It's not your concern. You made it my concern the moment you stepped off that elevator. One of the men behind him clears his throat. Mr. Blackridge, the meeting. Reschedule it. The name hits Eren like cold water. Blackridge. Dominic Blackridge. He's heard that name before. Everyone has. Billionaire. CEO, rumors of mafia connections, political scandals buried under legal fees, competitors who disappeared or went bankrupt overnight. This isn't a mistake. This is a disaster. Eren stands abruptly. I need to leave right now. Dominic doesn't move. Who's the father of your child? That's none of. Is he the reason you flinch when someone touches you? Eren's throat closes. Is he the reason you're desperate enough to walk into a building like this, 5 months pregnant, begging for work no one will give you? Tears burn behind Eren's eyes. He blinks hard, swallows them down. Please, he whispers, just let me go. Dominic studies him for a long moment, then he turns to the 2 men behind him. Close the doors, he says quietly. One of them moves toward the hallway entrance, the other steps closer to Eren. Eren's pulse spikes. What are you? Dominic turns back to him, and his expression is unreadable. Sit, he says again, this interview isn't over. What happens when a man who's never been told no meets someone who's never been protected? Drop your thoughts below. Eren's hands won't stop shaking. The leather chair is too soft, too expensive. It swallows him, makes him feel smaller than he already is. Across the room, Dominic Blackridge stands with his back to the window, arms crossed, watching. The 2 men, enforcers, bodyguards, whatever they are, position themselves near the door. One leans against the wall, the other stands straight, hands clasped in front of him, expression blank. No one speaks. The silence stretches until Eren's ribs ache from holding his breath. Are you going to hurt me? He asks finally. His voice sounds thin, childlike. Dominic's eyebrows lift slightly. Why would I do that? Because Eren stops, swallows, because that's what alphas do. One of the men by the door shifts his weight, the other's mouth tightens. Dominic doesn't react, he just keeps watching like Eren is a problem he's trying to solve. Who told you that? Dominic asks. Experience. Then you've been around the wrong alphas. Eren laughs, bitter and sharp. There's no other kind. Dominic tilts his head slightly. You're sitting in my office. I haven't touched you without permission. I haven't raised my voice. What exactly am I doing wrong? You locked the doors. To give you privacy. I didn't ask for privacy. You're about to tell me something you don't want overheard. Eren's stomach twists. I'm not telling you anything. Dominic steps forward, slow and deliberate. He stops 5 feet away, close enough to make his presence felt, far enough that Eren doesn't feel cornered. The father of your child, Dominic says, is he looking for you? Eren's fingers dig into the armrests. I don't know. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Does he know you're pregnant? He knew. And Eren's jaw tightens, and he didn't care. One of the men by the door exhales slowly. The sound is quiet, but Eren hears it. Dominic's expression doesn't change. Did he hurt you? Why do you keep asking me that? Because you keep avoiding the answer. Eren looks away. Focuses on the window, the skyline beyond, 47 floors up. He could see the whole city from here if he let himself look. He didn't hit me, Eren says quietly, if that's what you're asking. That's not what I asked. Eren's throat tightens, he didn't have to, he had other ways. The room goes still. Dominic doesn't move, but something shifts in his posture. His shoulders tighten, his hands, which had been loose at his sides, curl into fists. What's his name? Dominic asks. His voice is soft now, dangerous. It doesn't matter. It does. Why? What are you going to do? Fix it? Make it better? Eren's voice cracks. No one fixes anything, they just make it worse. Dominic studies him for a long moment, then he turns to the men by the door. Leave us. One of them hesitates, sir. Now. They exchange a glance, then move toward the door. It closes behind them with a quiet click. The silence that follows is heavier. Eren's pulse hammers in his ears. Being alone with an alpha is dangerous. Being alone with Dominic Blackridge is suicide. But Dominic doesn't move closer. He walks to the desk, pulls out the chair and sits. The gesture is deliberate, putting himself lower, less threatening. I'm not going to hurt you, he says quietly, but I need you to understand something. Eren doesn't answer. You walked into my building, you're on my floor, that makes you my responsibility. I didn't ask to be anyone's responsibility. I know. Then let me leave. Not until I know you're safe. Eren laughs again, sharper this time. Safe from what? From whoever taught you that alphas only hurt people. The words hit harder than Eren expects. He looks down at his hands, at the way his fingers tremble against the worn leather of the folder. I need a job, he says quietly. That's all, just work, somewhere no one asks questions. What kind of work? Anything, data entry, filing, cleaning, I don't care. You're 5 months pregnant, most places won't hire you. I know. So what's your plan? Eren's jaw tightens, survive until I can't anymore. The honesty of it hangs in the air between them. Dominic leans forward, elbows on his knees. What if I told you I could help? I'd ask what you wanted in return. Smart. Not smart, experienced. Dominic's expression hardens. I don't want anything. Everyone wants something. Not from you. Eren's head snaps up. Why? Because you're carrying a child, that makes you untouchable. The words are so unexpected that Eren doesn't know how to respond. He stares at Dominic, searching for the lie, the angle, the trap. He doesn't find one. I don't understand, Eren says slowly. You don't have to, just believe me. I don't believe anyone. Then don't, but let me prove it. Eren's chest tightens. Hope is dangerous, hope gets you hurt. But desperation is worse. What do you want me to do? He asks quietly. Dominic stands, moves to the desk, pulls out a business card. He writes something on the back, then crosses the room and holds it out. Eren takes it carefully, like it might burn him. The front has Dominic's name, title, and contact information. The back has an address. That's a secure apartment, Dominic says. It's empty, you can stay there. Eren's hands tighten around the card. Why would you do that? Because someone needs to. You don't even know me. I know enough. Eren looks down at the card, at the neat handwriting, the address in a part of the city he's never been to. What if I say no? He asks. Dominic's expression softens slightly. Then I let you walk out of here, no pressure, no strings. And if I say yes? Then you're under my protection, no one touches you, no one hurts you. Eren's throat tightens. Why? Dominic's jaw tightens. Because someone taught you to flinch, that's not normal. The words echo in Eren's chest. He looks at the card again, then at Dominic. I need to think about it, he says quietly. Dominic nods. Take your time. He moves to the door, opens it. The two men are waiting in the hallway. Eren stands slowly, clutching the folder and the card. He walks toward the door, each step feeling like crossing a minefield. When he reaches the threshold, Dominic speaks again. Eren. He stops, turns. Dominic's expression is unreadable. If he comes looking for you, I need to know. Eren's stomach twists. How did you? You said he didn't care. People who don't care don't usually stop caring, they escalate. The truth of it settles like ice in Eren's veins. He nods once, then steps into the hallway. The elevator ride down feels like falling. When protection feels like a trap, how do you know the difference? Comment below. Eren doesn't go to the address on the card. He walks 6 blocks, sits on a bench near a bus stop, and stares at the handwriting until the ink blurs. People pass by, businessmen in suits, mothers with strollers, teenagers laughing too loud. No one looks at him. That's the gift of being invisible. His phone buzzes in his pocket. He doesn't check it, he already knows who it is. The shelter where he's been staying for the past 3 weeks has rules. Curfew at 8, no food in the rooms, no visitors, no exceptions. And no pregnant omegas after the first trimester. They told him 2 days ago, sympathetic smiles, apologetic voices, "We're not equipped for that kind of care." Translation: you're a liability. He has until Friday to find somewhere else. It's Wednesday. Eren looks at the card again. The address is uptown. Expensive, the kind of place where doormen wear gloves and no one asks your name because they already know. Dominic Blackridge doesn't make offers like this for free. No one does. But the alternative is the street. Eren's phone buzzes again, this time he checks it. Unknown number. The message is short. Still thinking about me. His blood turns to ice. He deletes it immediately, but the damage is already done. His hands shake as he shoves the phone back into his pocket. Calder. The name alone makes his stomach turn. Eren met him 8 months ago at a charity event, one of those fundraisers where rich people pretend to care about omegas in need. Calder had been charming, well-dressed, easy to talk to. He'd offered help, resources, a way out of the cycle. Eren had believed him. The first month was perfect. Calder paid for an apartment, helped him find work, made him feel safe. The second month the control started, small things at first, questions about where he'd been, who he'd talked to, then restrictions. The job disappeared, the apartment became a cage. By the third month, Eren understood what he was. Property. When he realized he was pregnant, Calder's mask slipped completely. "I didn't sign up for this," Calder had said, cold and detached. "You'll take care of it." Eren refused. That's when Calder stopped pretending to be kind. He didn't hit Eren, he didn't have to, he just made sure no one else would help him, blacklisted him from shelters, spread rumors to employers, erased his credibility with a few phone calls. Pregnant omegas were disposable. Eren had learned that the hard way. Now Calder was texting him again, which meant he knew Eren was still in the city, still trying, still failing. Eren stands abruptly, shoves the card into his pocket and starts walking. He doesn't know where he's going, just away. By the time the sun sets, he's back at the shelter. The woman at the front desk gives him a tired smile. "You're cutting it close, honey." Eren nods, signs in, heads to the room he shares with 3 other people. 2 are already asleep. The third is scrolling through her phone, earbuds in. Eren lies on the thin mattress, stares at the ceiling and pulls out the card again. If he goes to that address, he's putting himself in Dominic Blackridge's hands. If he doesn't, he's putting himself at Calder's mercy. Neither option feels safe. But one feels less dangerous. Eren closes his eyes, takes a breath and makes the call. Dominic answers on the second ring. "Eren." His voice is calm, controlled, like he'd been expecting this. "The apartment," Eren says quietly, "is the offer still open?" "Yes." "What do you want from me?" "Nothing. People don't give things for free." "I do." Eren's throat tightens. "Why?" There's a pause, then Dominic says quietly, "Because someone should have done it a long time ago." The words crack something open in Eren's chest. "I'll take it," he whispers. "I'll send a car tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. "I don't." "You don't have to do anything, just be ready." The line goes dead. Eren stares at the phone for a long time, then he deletes Calder's message, powers off the phone and closes his eyes. For the first time in months, he sleeps through the night. The car arrives at 8 sharp. Black, sleek. Expensive enough that people on the sidewalk stop to stare. The driver steps out, a woman in a dark suit, hair pulled back, expression professional. "Eren Vale." He nods. "Mr. Blackridge asked me to bring you to the residence." She opens the back door and Eren slides in. The interior smells like leather and something faintly citrus. The seats are soft, heated. Eren's entire life fits in a backpack. The drive takes 20 minutes. The neighborhood shifts from worn buildings and graffiti to clean streets and manicured trees. The car pulls up in front of a high-rise, glass and steel, a doorman in a gray uniform. The driver opens Eren's door, 16th floor, unit 1604, the key is waiting at the front desk. Eren steps out slowly, the doorman nods politely. Inside, the lobby is marble and mirrors. A woman behind the desk hands him a key card without asking his name. Mr. Blackridge arranged everything, she says with a warm smile. If you need anything, just call the front desk. Eren nods, takes the key, and heads to the elevator. The 16th floor hallway is quiet, carpeted, smelling faintly of lavender. Unit 1604 is at the end. Eren slides the key into the lock. The door opens. The apartment is enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city. Hardwood floors, modern furniture, a kitchen with appliances Eren's never used. There's a note on the counter. You're safe here, no one knows this address except me, take your time. It's unsigned, but Eren knows the handwriting. He sets his backpack down slowly, walks to the window and looks out at the city. For the first time in months, he doesn't feel like he's drowning. His phone buzzes. Another unknown number. You think he can protect you? Eren's blood turns cold. He deletes the message, powers off the phone, throws it across the room. But the damage is done. Calder knows. When your past won't let go, how far will someone go to keep you safe? Drop your answer below. Dominic doesn't trust coincidences. The moment Eren walked into his office, something felt wrong, not about Eren, about the situation. Scheduling errors don't just happen at Blackridge Global, every appointment is vetted, cross-referenced, logged. Someone wanted Eren on that floor. Dominic sits in his office now 2 days after the interview, files spread across his desk. His head of security, Malik, stands near the window. The error came from an external source, Malik says. Someone hacked the scheduling system, rerouted the appointment. Who? Still working on it, but whoever did it knew what they were doing. Dominic's jaw tightens. What else? Malik pulls out a tablet, swipes through screens. Eren Vale, 20 years old, no criminal record, no family on file, worked a few temp jobs over the past year, nothing stable. Last known address was a shelter on the south side. And the pregnancy. 5 months along, like he said, but here's where it gets interesting. Malik taps the screen. I pulled hospital records. He registered at a clinic 4 months ago. The intake form listed an alpha as the father. Name: Calder Rook. The name means nothing to Dominic. He frowns. Who is he? Malik's expression darkens. That's the problem. On paper, he's a philanthropist, runs a nonprofit called Second Chance Solutions. They help Omegas in crisis, housing, job placement, medical care. And off paper, red flags everywhere. The nonprofit's funding comes from shell companies. The housing they provide is temporary, no long-term leases, and every Omega who goes through their program signs an NDA. Dominic's hands curl into fists. What kind of NDA? The kind that keeps people quiet. Malik swipes again, pulls up a document. I found 3 lawsuits filed in the past 2 years, all dismissed, all settled out of court, all involving Omegas who accused Calder of coercion and trafficking. The word lands like a gunshot. Trafficking, Dominic repeats slowly. That's the theory, but no one's been able to prove it. Calder's got protection, political connections, legal teams that bury everything before it goes public. Dominic leans back in his chair, staring at the file. How does Blackridge Global tie into this? Malik hesitates. You're not going to like this. Say it. Second Chance Solutions receives funding from a holding company called Arcadia Group. Arcadia gets its money from us. Dominic finishes, his voice flat. Malik nods. Blackridge Global has a corporate responsibility fund. Part of it goes to nonprofits. Arcadia's on the list, which means we've been laundering money for a trafficking ring. The silence that follows is suffocating. Dominic stands abruptly, walks to the window. 47 floors below, the city moves, oblivious. How long? He asks quietly. 3 years. And no one caught it. The paper trails clean. Arcadia looks legitimate. Second Chance looks legitimate. It's only when you dig deeper that the cracks show. Dominic's reflection stares back at him from the glass. Who approved the funding? Your father. The words hit like a fist to the ribs. Dominic's father built Blackridge Global from nothing. Ruthless, brilliant, efficient. He died 2 years ago, left the company to Dominic, and with it, a legacy Dominic is still trying to understand. Apparently, that legacy includes enabling predators. Cut the funding, Dominic says, immediately. Already done, but that's not going to stop Calder. He's got other revenue streams. Then we take those too. Malik raises an eyebrow. You're going after him directly. He heard Eren, that makes it personal. Eren's just one Omega, there are probably dozens. I don't care about dozens, Dominic turns, his expression hard. I care about the one who walked into my office terrified and pregnant and desperate. That's the one I'm going to protect. Malik studies him for a long moment. You're risking a lot for someone you just met. Risk is relative. Not when the person you're going after has ties to organized crime. Dominic's mouth curves into something that isn't quite a smile. So do I. Malik's expression shifts. He knows what Dominic's referring to. The rumors about Blackridge Global aren't entirely rumors. Dominic's father had connections, dangerous ones. Dominic inherited those too. What's the play? Malik asks. Freeze Calder's accounts, all of them, shell companies, personal holdings, everything. That'll take time. Then work faster. Dominic moves to the desk, pulls out his phone. And find out where Calder is right now. I want to know his schedule, his movements, who he's meeting with. You're going to confront him. Eventually. And Eren. Dominic's jaw tightens. He's at the apartment, safe for now. For now. Calder's already making moves. Eren got a message yesterday. Calder knows he's in the city. Malik's expression hardens. Then we need to move faster. Agreed. Dominic's phone buzzes. A notification from the building's security system. Someone's trying to access the lobby of the apartment building where Eren is staying. The camera feed shows a man in an expensive coat, dark hair, sharp features. He's arguing with the doorman. Dominic's blood turns cold. That's Calder, Malik says quietly. Dominic's hand tightens around the phone. Get a team to that building, now. Already on it. Dominic watches the feed. The doorman is shaking his head, refusing entry. Calder's expression shifts, irritation to anger to something colder. Then Calder steps back, smiles and walks away. The smile is what makes Dominic's chest tighten. He's not giving up, Malik says. I know. This is going to get worse before it gets better. Dominic doesn't answer, he just keeps watching the screen, watching Calder disappear into the crowd. Then he sends a message to Eren. Stay inside, don't open the door for anyone. The response comes 30 seconds later. Why, what's happening? Dominic hesitates, then types. He knows where you are. The next message doesn't come. Dominic stares at the screen, jaw tight, and makes a call. Malik, I want eyes on Calder 24/7. If he so much as breathes near that building again, I want to know. Understood. Dominic hangs up, sets the phone down, and stares at the files on his desk. He spent years building an empire, protecting assets, eliminating threats. But this is different. This isn't about money or power or reputation. This is about making sure one terrified Omega doesn't become another statistic. And Dominic Blackridge doesn't lose. When the hunter becomes the hunted, who draws the line? Comment below. Eren doesn't leave the apartment for 3 days. The view from the 16th floor is stunning. The city stretches endlessly, buildings stacked like Lego blocks, cars threading through streets like veins, but Eren barely looks at it. He keeps the curtains closed. Every time his phone buzzes, his heart stops. He hasn't turned it back on since throwing it across the room, but the paranoia doesn't care about logic. Calder is out there, looking, waiting. Dominic's message confirmed it. He knows where you are. Eren sits on the couch, knees pulled to his chest, hands wrapped around a mug of tea that's gone cold. The apartment is too quiet, too clean, too safe. It doesn't feel real. Nothing does. His phone, still powered off, sits on the kitchen counter like a landmine. A knock at the door makes him flinch. Mr. Vale, a woman's voice, calm, professional. It's building security, Mr. Blackridge asked us to check in. Eren stands slowly, walks to the door, checks the peephole. A woman in a dark suit, ID badge clipped to her belt. He opens the door a crack. I'm fine. She smiles, just making sure. If you need anything, the front desk is available 24/7. Thank you. She nods and walks away. Eren closes the door, locks it, slides the chain into place. Then he sinks to the floor and puts his head in his hands. This is temporary. It has to be. Dominic Blackridge doesn't protect people out of kindness. He's playing a game Eren doesn't understand yet, and when the pieces fall, Eren will be the one crushed. That's how it always works. The intercom buzzes. Eren's head snaps up. The screen on the wall shows the lobby. The doorman's face appears. Mr. Vale, you have a visitor. Eren's stomach drops. Who? A Mr. Blackridge. Relief and panic hit simultaneously. Eren stands, walks to the intercom. Send him up. 2 minutes later, there's a knock at the door. Eren checks the peephole again. Dominic stands in the hallway alone, hands in his pockets. Eren opens the door. Dominic steps inside, glances around the apartment, then looks at Eren. You look like you haven't slept. I haven't. Why not? Eren crosses his arms over his stomach. You told me he knows where I am. He does, but he can't get to you. How do you know? Because I made sure of it. Dominic closes the door behind him, locks it. Calder tried to get into the building yesterday. The doorman turned him away. Eren's chest tightens. He's not going to stop. I know. Then what's the point of this? Eren gestures to the apartment. You can't keep me locked in here forever. I'm not trying to lock you in, I'm trying to keep him out. It's the same thing. Dominic's jaw tightens. No, it's not. Eren turns away, walks to the window. Even with the curtains closed, he can feel the city beyond, vast, indifferent, full of people who don't care if he disappears. Why are you doing this? Eren asks quietly. I already told you. No, you told me I'm your responsibility. That's not an answer. Dominic doesn't respond immediately. When Eren glances back, Dominic is standing near the couch, hands still in his pockets, expression unreadable. You flinched when I touched you, Dominic says finally. That reaction, it's learned. Someone taught you to be afraid. So I don't tolerate that. Eren laughs bitterly. You don't even know me. I know enough. Like what? Like you're 20 years old, pregnant, and running from someone who should have protected you. Like you walked into my office desperate enough to beg for work you knew you wouldn't get. Like you're too scared to turn your phone back on because you know he's watching. Eren's throat tightens. You don't know what he's capable of. Then tell me. Why, so you can fix it, make it better? Eren's voice cracks. That's not how this works. People like Calder don't lose, they just win. Dominic's expression hardens. Not this time. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. The certainty in his voice is unsettling. Eren shakes his head. You don't understand, he has connections, money, protection. So do I. It's not the same. You're right, it's not. Dominic steps closer and Eren's instinct is to step back, but he forces himself to stay still. Because I don't use my power to hurt people, I use it to protect them. Everyone says that at first. Then let me prove it. Eren stares at him, searching for the lie, the angle, the trap, but Dominic's expression is steady, calm. Too calm. What do you want from me? Eren asks quietly, and don't say nothing, no one does this for free. Dominic's jaw tightens. I want you to trust me. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Eren's chest aches. Trust is a luxury he can't afford. Trust gets you hurt. But what's the alternative? I don't know how to do that, Eren admits. Then don't, just let me help. Why? Because someone should have done it a long time ago. The words are the same ones from the phone call, but hearing them in person is different. They settle into Eren's chest, heavy and warm. I don't understand you, Eren whispers. You don't have to. But I want to. Dominic's expression softens slightly, then asks. Eren hesitates, then quietly, what happens when you get bored of this, when protecting me stops being interesting? Dominic steps closer again, this time Eren doesn't move. I don't get bored of doing the right thing, Dominic says quietly. Everyone does. Not me. Eren wants to believe him, desperately. But belief feels like standing on the edge of a cliff, waiting to fall. I need time, Eren says finally. Dominic nods, take it. And if Calder, he won't get near you, I promise. Eren's hands tighten around his mug, how can you be so sure? Dominic's expression shifts, something dark, controlled, dangerous. Because I'm going to make sure he regrets ever hurting you. The words hang in the air like a threat. Or a promise. Eren's phone buzzes. Both of them turn toward the kitchen counter where it sits. Eren's stomach drops, I thought I turned it off. You did, Dominic says quietly. He walks over, picks up the phone. The screen is black but the notification light blinks. Someone's calling. Dominic powers it on, the screen lights up. Unknown number. Dominic answers, puts it on speaker. Calder's voice fills the room. Hello, Eren. When your nightmare has your number, who do you call? Drop your thoughts below. Calder's voice slides through the speaker like oil on water. I know you're listening, Eren. I can always tell when you're holding your breath. Eren's lungs freeze. His eyes lock on Dominic, who stands perfectly still, phone in hand, expression carved from stone. Nothing to say, Calder continues, amused. That's not like you used to beg so prettily. Dominic's jaw tightens, his thumb hovers over the end call button but he doesn't press it. I'll make this simple, Calder says, you have something that belongs to me. Eren's hands move instinctively to his stomach. That apartment you're hiding in? Very nice. 16th floor, corner unit, great view, must be expensive. Who's paying for it, Eren? What did you have to do to earn it? Dominic's eyes flash. He opens his mouth but Eren grabs his wrist, shakes his head. Don't. Calder laughs softly, still playing the victim, still pretending you didn't ask for this. Eren's throat burns, he wants to scream, to throw the phone, to run. But his legs won't move. Here's what's going to happen, Calder says, his tone shifting, colder now, businesslike. You're going to leave that building, alone. You're going to meet me at the address I'm about to send you, and you're going to sign the papers I prepared. What papers? Dominic's voice cuts through, sharp and controlled. Silence. Then Calder laughs again, longer this time. Well, that's unexpected. Answer the question. And who might you be? Someone you don't want to meet. Big words, let me guess, another alpha with a hero complex? How charming. Calder's voice drips with mockery. Tell me, do you know what you're protecting? Or did Eren conveniently forget to mention the fine print? Eren's chest tightens. Don't. He signed a contract, Calder interrupts smoothly. 8 months ago, housing, medical care, job placement, all provided by Second Chance Solutions. In exchange, any offspring produced during the term of care reverts to organizational custody. The words slam into Eren like fists. Dominic's expression doesn't change, but his knuckles whiten around the phone. You're lying, Eren whispers. Check your email, I sent you a copy last night. Eren's legs give out, he sinks onto the couch, head spinning. Dominic moves to the laptop on the coffee table, opens it, pulls up Eren's email. His fingers fly across the keyboard. There it is. An email from Second Chance Solutions. Subject line, contractual obligations reminder. The attachment is a scanned document, 6 pages long. Legal jargon, dense paragraphs, signatures at the bottom. Eren's signature. Dominic scrolls to page 4. The clause is highlighted in yellow. Any biological offspring conceived during the term of residency and care shall be placed under the guardianship of Second Chance Solutions for purposes of adoption placement and welfare assessment. Eren's vision blurs. I don't remember signing that. Of course you don't, Calder says smoothly. You were so grateful for the help, so eager to say yes. Dominic's voice is deadly quiet. This contract is illegal. Is it? My lawyers disagree, and I assure you they're very good. Coercion voids consent. Prove it. Dominic's hand tightens into a fist. Calder's tone shifts again, softer now, almost kind. Eren, I'm not the villain here, I'm offering you a way out. Sign the custody papers, walk away clean. I'll even waive the fees you owe for housing and medical care. That's over $40,000, by the way. Eren's stomach turns. I don't owe you anything. The contract says otherwise. The contract is garbage, Dominic snaps. Then take me to court, I'll wait. Calder pauses. But while you're waiting, Eren's baby will be born, and the moment that happens, my legal team will file for emergency custody. Guess who wins? Eren's breath comes in short, sharp gasps. The room tilts. Dominic moves to him, crouches in front of him, grips his shoulders gently. Breathe, slowly. Eren tries, fails. His chest feels like it's caving in. You have 48 hours, Calder says. After that I file, and trust me, Eren, you don't want this in front of a judge. The line goes dead. Eren stares at the phone, at the contract on the screen, at Dominic's face. He can't do this, Eren whispers. He can't take my baby. Dominic's expression is unreadable. He's not going to. You don't know that. Yes, I do. How? Eren's voice cracks. He has lawyers, he has money, he has. So do I. Eren shakes his head. It's not enough. You saw the contract, I signed it. Under duress. Prove it. Dominic stands, pulls out his phone, dials. Someone answers on the first ring. Malik, I need a legal team, now. Dominic's voice is cold, controlled. Contract law, coercion, Omega writes best in the city. He listens for a moment, then nods. Good, have them here in an hour. He hangs up, turns back to Eren. You're not losing your baby, Dominic says quietly. I don't care what it takes. Eren wants to believe him, but belief feels like drowning. What if you're wrong? Eren whispers. Dominic's jaw tightens. I'm not. But what if? Then I'll find another way. Eren stares at him, at the certainty in his eyes, the steel in his posture. For the first time he understands. Dominic Blackridge doesn't lose. Not because he's lucky. Because he refuses to. Eren's phone buzzes again. A text message, unknown number and address. And below it, clock's ticking. When your future is signed away in fine print, who rewrites the contract? Drop your answer below. The photographers catch them at the worst possible moment. Eren collapses 3 steps outside the apartment building. His legs just stop working. 1 second he's walking, the next he's on his knees, hands pressed against the concrete, gasping. Dominic doesn't hesitate. He drops to the ground beside him, hand on Eren's back. What's wrong? I can't. Eren's vision blurs. I can't breathe. Yes, you can. Look at me. Eren tries. The world tilts sideways. Dominic's voice sharpens. Malik Kar now. But it's too late. The cameras are already there. Someone shouts, that's Dominic Blackridge. Flashes explode like lightning. Eren flinches, tries to cover his face, but his hands won't cooperate. Dominic moves without thinking. He scoops Eren into his arms, one arm under his knees, the other around his back, and stands. Eren's head falls against Dominic's chest. Put me down. No. People are watching. I don't care. More shouts, more cameras. Mr. Blackridge, who is that? Is he pregnant? Are you the father? Dominic doesn't answer. He walks straight through the crowd, jaw tight, eyes forward. Malik appears with the car, doors already open. Dominic slides Eren into the back seat, climbs in after him, slams the door. The car pulls away. Eren sits hunched forward, hands over his face, shaking. I'm sorry, he whispers. For what? For his voice breaks, for all of this. Dominic's expression hardens. You didn't do anything wrong. They saw me, they saw us. I know. They're going to write about it, they're going to. Let them. Eren's head snaps up. You don't understand. If Calder sees. Good, let him see. Dominic's voice is cold, controlled. Let him see exactly what he's up against. Eren stares at him. You just made yourself a target. I've been a target my entire life. This is different. Why? Because now he knows you care. Dominic's jaw tightens. That's his problem, not mine. The car pulls up to a private medical building. Malik opens the door and Dominic helps Eren out. Inside, a doctor is already waiting. She's older, calm, efficient. She leads them to a private room, runs tests, checks Eren's vitals. Panic attack, she says finally. Likely stress-induced. Have you been sleeping? Eren shakes his head. Eating. Not much. She makes a note on her tablet. You need rest, real rest, and you need to avoid high-stress situations. Eren laughs bitterly. That's not possible. The doctor glances at Dominic. Is there anything you can do to help with that? I'm working on it, Dominic says quietly. She nods, hands Eren a prescription. For anxiety, take it if you need to, and please take care of yourself. You're not just carrying a life, you're sustaining one. Eren nods numbly. By the time they leave, the headlines are already live. Malik shows them on his phone in the car. Billionaire Alpha Dominic Blackridge seen carrying pregnant Omega. Blackridge's secret, CEO shields mysterious Omega in public breakdown. Who is the Omega in Dominic Blackridge's arms? The photos are everywhere. Eren on the ground, Dominic lifting him, Eren's face pressed against Dominic's chest. In every shot, Dominic looks fierce, protective. In every shot, Eren looks fragile. Eren's chest tightens. They're going to destroy me. No, Dominic says firmly, they're going to destroy him. What? Dominic takes the phone from Malik, pulls up another article. This one is different. Sources claim Omega fled abusive nonprofit leader Calder Rook. Second Chance Solutions under investigation for Omega trafficking allegations. Eren's breath catches. How? I made some calls, Dominic says quietly. Journalists love a story, especially when it involves powerful people doing terrible things. But the evidence is being compiled as we speak. Financial records, testimonies, contracts like yours. Dominic's voice is steady. Calder wanted a fight, he's going to get one. Eren stares at the screen, at the words, at the photos of Calder looking polished and charming in old press releases. What if it's not enough? Eren whispers. It will be. You can't know that. Dominic turns to him. I can because I'm not stopping until it is. The certainty in his voice is terrifying. And comforting. And dangerous. The car pulls up to the apartment building. Malik steps out first, scans the area, nods. Dominic helps Eren out, keeps a hand on his back as they walk inside. Upstairs, Eren sinks onto the couch, exhausted. Dominic sits beside him, not too close, just close enough. You should have left me there, Eren says quietly. On the sidewalk. In your office the first day, you should have sent me away. Why? Because now you're tied to me, and that's dangerous. Dominic's jaw tightens. I don't care. You will. No, I won't. Eren looks at him, really looks at him. At the sharp lines of his face, the intensity in his eyes, the way he holds himself like the world can't touch him. Why are you doing this? Eren asks softly. Dominic doesn't answer immediately, then, quietly, because someone should have protected you a long time ago, and since no one did, I will. The words settle into Eren's chest, heavy and warm. I don't know how to let you, Eren admits. Then just don't stop me. Eren's throat tightens. He wants to say something, to thank him, to explain how much this means. But the words won't come. His phone buzzes. A text message. From Calder. Enjoy the headlines, they won't save you. Eren's hands tremble. Dominic takes the phone, reads the message, and his expression goes cold. He's escalating, Dominic says quietly. I know. Which means we need to move faster. How? Dominic stands, pulls out his phone, dials. Malik, I need a meeting tomorrow morning, Calder Rook face to face. Eren's stomach drops. What are you doing? Dominic doesn't answer, he listens, nods, hangs up. Then he turns to Eren. I'm ending this. When the protector becomes the hunter, how far will he go? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Drop your thoughts below and inspire others with your story. The medical report changes everything. Dr. Amara Chen sits across from Eren in the same private clinic, tablet in hand, expression carefully neutral. I need to explain something, she says quietly. Eren's chest tightens. Dominic stands near the window, arms crossed, listening. Your pregnancy, Dr. Chen continues, is not typical. Eren's hands grip the armrests. What does that mean? She swipes through images on the tablet, ultrasounds, charts, genetic markers. We ran additional tests after your panic attack, standard procedure for high-stress pregnancies, but the results showed something unusual. Unusual how? Dr. Chen hesitates, then, your child is carrying multi-alpha genetic markers. The room goes silent. Eren blinks. I don't understand. It's rare, extremely rare. In most pregnancies, a child inherits dominant traits from one parent, but in cases like this, the child shows markers from multiple alpha lineages. Eren's stomach turns. Multiple. It's possible the biological father carries a recessive multi-alpha gene. It's dormant in most people, but when activated, it creates offspring with enhanced physical resilience, accelerated cognitive development, and, she pauses, significant value in certain circles. Dominic steps forward. What circles? Dr. Chen's expression darkens. Illegal adoption networks, black market genetics programs, people who see children as commodities. Eren's vision blurs. You're saying my baby is valuable? Dr. Chen finishes gently, to the wrong people. The words crash into Eren like a freight train. He stands abruptly, stumbles, grips the back of the chair. Dominic moves to steady him, but Eren pulls away. This is why Calder wants the baby, Eren whispers, not because of the contract, because he knows, Dominic finishes, his voice tight. Dr. Chen nods. If Calder is involved in trafficking, this would explain his obsession. Multi-alpha children can sell for millions in the right markets. Eren's knees buckle. Dominic catches him this time, guides him back into the chair. How did Calder know? Dominic asks, voice like steel. He must have run genetic tests during the pregnancy, Dr. Chen says, possibly without Eren's knowledge. Eren's hands shake. He took blood samples 3 months in, said it was routine. Dominic's jaw tightens, and he's been planning this ever since. Dr. Chen closes the tablet. I'm required by law to report findings like this to Child Protective Services. Don't, Dominic says sharply. She frowns. Mr. Blackridge. If you report this, Calder will know we know, and he'll move faster. Dominic's voice is controlled, dangerous. Give me 48 hours. To do what? To end this. Dr. Chen studies him for a long moment, then she nods slowly. 48 hours, after that I have no choice. She stands, leaves the room. Eren stares at the floor, at his hands, at the curve of his stomach. My baby is a target, he whispers. Yes. Because of what it is. Yes. Eren's chest aches. I can't protect it. Dominic crouches in front of him, grips his shoulders gently. You don't have to, I will. You don't understand. If people find out, if this gets out. It won't. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. Dominic's voice is steady, certain, because I'm going to make sure no one ever touches your child. Eren's throat tightens. Why does this matter to you? Dominic's jaw tightens, because power means nothing if you don't use it to protect people who can't protect themselves. The words hit harder than Eren expects. What if you fail? Eren whispers. I won't. But what if? Then I'll burn everything down until there's nothing left to fail against. Eren stares at him, at the intensity in his eyes, the certainty in his posture. For the first time, Eren understands what Dominic Blackridge really is. Not just powerful. Relentless. Eren's phone buzzes. Another message, another unknown number. Dominic takes it, reads it. His expression goes cold. What? Eren asks. Dominic shows him the screen. I know what you're carrying, and I know what it's worth. Below it a photo. An ultrasound image. Eren's ultrasound image. The one from Dr. Chen's tablet. Eren's blood turns to ice. How did he? Dominic's voice is deadly quiet. Someone leaked it. Who? I don't know yet, but I wills. Dominic stands, pulls out his phone, dials Malik. We've been compromised. Someone inside the clinic leaked medical records. Find them, now. He hangs up, turns back to Eren. Pack a bag, Dominic says quietly. What? You're not staying here, it's not safe. Where am I going? Somewhere Calder can't reach you. Eren stands slowly, and where's that? Dominic's expression is unreadable. With me. When the secret is out and the stakes are life itself, who do you trust? Comment below, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter. Share your thoughts and inspire others. Calder sits in the center of an empty conference room, hands folded on the table, smiling. Dominic walks in alone. Malik and two other men wait outside, weapons concealed, expressions cold. The door closes. Calder's smile widens. "Mr. Blackridge, how kind of you to accept my invitation." "I didn't accept anything, you're here because I allowed it." Calder laughs softly. "Semantics, shall we sit?" "No." "Suit yourself." Calder leans back, entirely too comfortable. "I assume you know why I wanted to meet. You want Eren's child. I want what's legally mine. The contract is void. My lawyers disagree. Your lawyers are about to be unemployed." Calder's smile falters slightly, big words. Dominic pulls a folder from his jacket, tosses it onto the table. It lands with a heavy thud. "Financial records," Dominic says coldly. "Shell companies, offshore accounts, payments to adoption brokers in 6 countries, testimonies from 14 Omegas who went through your program and were coerced into surrendering their children." Calder's expression doesn't change, but his fingers tighten. "That's impressive detective work," Calder says smoothly. "Shame none of it will hold up in court." "It doesn't have to." "Excuse me." Dominic steps closer. "I've already sent copies to every major news outlet in the city. By tomorrow morning, your name will be everywhere, and not the way you want it to be." Calder's jaw tightens. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Dominic pulls out his phone, shows him the screen. Email drafts ready to send, journalists, investigators, federal task forces. Calder's face hardens. "You think destroying my reputation will stop me?" "No, but it'll make you irrelevant." Calder stands abruptly. "You don't know what you're dealing with. A predator who preys on vulnerable Omegas. I know exactly what I'm dealing with. I'm offering them a way out. You're trapping them. They sign willingly. Under duress." Calder's voice rises. "You don't understand. These Omegas, they're desperate, broken. I give them structure, purpose. You take their children. I give those children better lives. By selling them to the highest bidder." The words hang in the air. Calder's expression shifts, cold, calculating. "You can't prove that." "I don't have to, the feds already are." Calder's eyes narrow. "What?" Dominic's smile is sharp, dangerous. "I made some calls. Turns out your operation has been on their radar for months. They just needed someone to connect the dots. I did that for them." Calder's face goes pale. "You're finished," Dominic says quietly. "Your accounts are frozen, your connections are severed, your lawyers are under investigation, and by the end of the week you'll be in a cell." Calder's hands curl into fists. "You think you've won. I know I have. You're protecting one Omega, one child. What about the others? They'll be protected too." "By who?" "You." Calder laughs bitterly. "You're just like me, you use your power to control people." "No." Dominic's voice is steel. "I use my power to stop people like you." Calder steps closer, voice low, dangerous. "This isn't over." "Yes, it is. You think Eren is safe with you, you think you can protect him forever. I don't have to protect him forever, just long enough for you to disappear." Calder's expression twists. "He's weak, broken, he'll never trust you. That's not your concern anymore. He'll run just like he ran from me. The difference is, I'm not giving him a reason to." Calder's smile returns, sharp and cruel. "We'll see." The door opens. 2 federal agents step inside. Badges visible. Calder's face goes white. "Calder Rook," one of the agents says, "you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit human trafficking, coercion, and fraud." Calder's eyes lock on Dominic. "You called them. I told you I'm ending this." The agents move forward, cuffs out. Calder doesn't resist, but his smile doesn't fade. "You think this ends me," he says quietly. "You have no idea how deep this goes." Dominic doesn't respond. The agents lead Calder out. The room falls silent. Malik steps inside. "It's done." Dominic nods. "Make sure he doesn't get bail." "Already handled." Dominic walks to the window, stares out at the city. "What about Eren?" Malik asks. "He's safe. For now." Dominic's jaw tightens. "For good." Malik hesitates. You know this won't end with Calder, right? There are others, networks, people who know what Eren's carrying. Then we'll deal with them too. One at a time. However many it takes. Malik nods slowly. You're risking a lot for him. I know. Is he worth it? Dominic turns meets Malik's eyes. Yes. When justice closes in, what comes next? Drop your thoughts, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the final chapter. Your comments inspire others. Eren stands at the window of Dominic's penthouse, watching the city wake up. The sun rises slow and orange, painting the buildings gold. Below, people move like ants, purposeful, oblivious, alive. Behind him, Dominic walks in with 2 cups of coffee. You didn't sleep, Dominic says. Neither did you. I had work. So did I. Dominic sets the cups on the table, walks to the window, stands beside him. They don't speak for a long time. Finally, Eren says quietly, he's really gone. Yes. For how long? Long enough. Eren's hands rest on his stomach, the baby kicks small, insistent. What happens now? Eren asks. You decide. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Eren turns to face him. You've given me everything, an apartment, protection, a future. What do you want in return? Dominic's jaw tightens. I told you nothing. Everyone wants something. Not from you. Then from who? Dominic's expression softens. From myself. Eren blinks. I don't understand. I spent my entire life building power, taking control, eliminating threats. Dominic's voice is quiet, raw, but power doesn't mean anything if you don't use it to protect people who can't protect themselves. Eren's chest tightens. I'm not a project. I know. Then what am I? Dominic meets his eyes, someone who deserves better than what the world gave you. The words settle into Eren's chest, heavy and warm. I don't know how to trust you, Eren admits. Then don't, just let me keep proving it. Eren's throat tightens. What if I can't? Then I'll wait. For how long? However long it takes. Eren stares at him, at the certainty in his eyes, the steel in his posture, the way he stands like the world can't touch him. Why me? Eren whispers. Dominic's jaw tightens. Because you walked into my office terrified and desperate, and instead of walking away, I saw someone worth protecting. I'm not worth. Yes, you are. The certainty in his voice cracks something open inside Eren's chest. I don't know how to do this, Eren says quietly. Do what? Let someone care. Dominic steps closer, not too close, just close enough. Then we'll figure it out together. Eren's hands shake. What if Calder was right? What if I run? Then I'll find you, and I'll remind you that you're safe. What if I don't believe you? Then I'll prove it again and again, until you do. Eren's chest aches. He wants to believe, desperately. But belief feels like standing on the edge of a cliff. What happens when the baby comes? Eren asks softly. You raise it however you want, and I'll make sure no one interferes. What if people find out what it is? They won't. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. Dominic's voice is steady, certain, because I'll protect both of you for as long as you'll let me. Eren's throat tightens. Why? Because someone should have done it a long time ago. The words echo the ones from weeks ago, the ones that made Eren take the first step. Now they make him take another. Eren steps forward, slowly, carefully. Dominic doesn't move, just watches, patient. Eren reaches out, hand trembling, and touches Dominic's chest. Dominic's breath catches, but he doesn't pull away. I'm scared, Eren whispers. I know. I don't know if I can do this. You don't have to do it alone. Eren's fingers curl into Dominic's shirt. What if you get tired of me? I won't. How do you know? Dominic's hand covers Eren's, gentle, steady. Because protecting you isn't a burden, it's a choice, and I choose you every time. Eren's vision blurs, tears spill over hot and sudden. Dominic pulls him close, carefully, slowly, giving him time to pull away. Eren doesn't. He presses his face against Dominic's chest and lets himself break. Dominic holds him steady, certain, unshakable. You're safe, Dominic murmurs, I promise. And for the first time, Eren believes it. 3 months later, the baby is born. A boy, healthy, beautiful. Eren names him Zion. Dominic is there for the birth, holds Eren's hand, doesn't flinch when Eren screams. When the nurses place Zion in Eren's arms, Eren looks up at Dominic with tears streaming down his face. "Thank you," Eren whispers. Dominic's expression softens. "You don't have to thank me." "Yes, I do." Dominic reaches out, brushes his thumb across Eren's cheek, wiping away tears. "You did this," Dominic says quietly. "You survived, you fought, you protected him." "We protected him." Dominic's jaw tightens. "We." Eren nods. "We." The word settles between them, small, significant. "A promise." Calder never makes bail. The federal investigation uncovers dozens of victims, millions in illegal transactions, connections to organized crime. He's sentenced to 30 years. Second Chance Solutions is dismantled. The Omegas who were trapped are freed, relocated, given real resources. Dominic funds it all quietly, through shell companies and anonymous donations. No headlines, no credit. Just justice. Eren doesn't go back to the shelter. He stays in the penthouse, not because he has to. Because he wants to. Dominic doesn't ask for anything, doesn't push. He just stays present, steady. And slowly, carefully, Eren learns to trust. Not because trust is easy, but because Dominic makes it safe. 1 year later, Eren stands at the same window, Zion in his arms, watching the city wake up. Dominic walks up behind him, wraps his arms around both of them. "What are you thinking?" Dominic asks. Eren smiles. "That I'm not afraid anymore." "Good. And that maybe," Eren hesitates, "maybe we're going to be okay." Dominic presses a kiss to Eren's temple. "We already are." Zion giggles, reaching for the window. Eren laughs and the sound is light-free. Dominic watches them, his family, and for the first time in his life, he understands what power really means. Not control. Not domination. Protection. Love. Choice. And he chooses them. Every single day. True protection isn't about control, it's about creating space for someone to heal. If this story inspired you, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another story that moves you.